I saw Jazaniah, the son of Azar, and Peliatiah, the son of Benaniah, princes of the people. And he said, Son of man, these are the men that devise mischief and give wicked counsel in this city. One of the main reasons why Israel was in bondage was because the leaders, the princes, the people with the power had turned from God. You know, there were bound to be a lot of people in Israel that still believed in one true God. There was bound to be a lot of people, even though they were in captivity of Babylon, even though they were slaves, there was bound to be a lot of people. The only way they made it through the day was by relying on Jesus Christ, by relying on the Lord, even in that day. But the leaders had turned away from God. Look over and verse 12, pardon me. Verse 12. Chapter 11, verse 12. This is why they had judgment on them. He said, You shall know that I am the Lord, for you have not walked in my statutes, neither executed my judgments, but you have done after the manner of the heathen that are round about you. You think it matters to God how we live? Do you think it matters to God the way we act? Do you think it matters to God the way we talk? Do you think it matters to God the daily practices in our lives? Do you think it matters to God the way we look? Do you think it matters to God? And I'm talking about not things that we just, are born with. I wish I looked a little better too, But when we try deliberately to look like ungodly people, we're inviting ungodliness into our lives. When we deliberately in our heart pattern our looks after somebody that is leading an ungodly life, we have made them our image. We have allowed them to be our leader. Now that's up to every individual person, but I'm kind of saddened by Christians who just excuse any way that anybody looks. Now I can't set a prescription, that's up to you, but who are you following is the question. Who are you following? If there is somebody that is a terrible person, they're into all kinds of ungodly things, and that person is your hero, and you want to look like them and act like them, folks, you cannot follow God and do that. You need to choose whom you follow here on earth. Choose someone that will lead you to Christ. The way we act. He is specifically saying, you have decided, you are the children of God, and you've decided that it's okay to act like all the heathen that are around you. It's not okay. That's why they were in slavery. That's why they were in bondage, because the leaders had turned from God, and because the people had taken on the habits and the practices, the behaviors, the morals of the heathen. Now, it's not really politically correct today to talk about morals and heathenistic ways. It's not really politically correct today to say this is a right way to live and this is a wrong way to live. And we are so diverse in our society that it is between you and God. But there are a lot of folks that are not even trying to live a godly life. There's a lot of children of Jesus Christ, a lot of church members that are wild on Saturday night and here on Sunday morning and pretend that it's okay. It's not okay to live like the world. Come ye out from among them, he said. Be a peculiar person. If you're the same as all the other wild living people that are around, then you are, don't fool. You must live for the Lord in order to please Him. And I'm not standing up here saying that I'm so much better than everybody. I'm right there with you, folks. Every single day I live in the same world you do. And we all have to choose what we're going to do each day. Are we going to live for the Lord, or are we going to follow the wrong leadership? Look down in verse 19. In verse 19, the Lord will help you. The good news is God will help you do what He wants you to do. God will lead you the way He wants you to go, and He'll do it in your heart. He said, I'll give them one heart. I will put a new spirit within you. I will take that stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. When you say no to God the first time, it kind of hurts. When you say no to God the second time, it hurts a little less. When you say no to God the third time, it may not hurt. The fourth time you say no to God, you get a coating of hardness over your heart. And then it gets harder and harder, and pretty soon the Lord will stop speaking to your heart until you cry out to Him out of desperation that you will listen this time. Until you cry out from your heart, out of the bottom of the barrel, from the lowest of the low, till you cry out and say, I have to have God just to go on another day. He probably won't speak to you again until you get to that point in your life. But when you do, He still loves you. He has not forgotten you. Hebrews chapter 6 says, I have not forgotten the labor of love that you showed to me. Hebrews chapter 6 says, He has not forgotten His children. Now look in verse 19. I will give them one heart. I will put a new spirit within you. Now remember this. Your heart is your emotions. Your heart is your passion. It's the way you feel. It's what drives you and motivates you. Your heart is, your heart is worth saving because the Lord sent His Son so you could bring Him into your heart and change your desires. Your heart is your desires, your passion, your want to, your motivation. If your heart of hearts is on fire for the Lord, everything else will line up in the right place. Your heart can be changed by the Lord. He loves you. Your spirit is your mind. Oh, that's where I get in trouble. My heart says one thing and my mind tries to reason out of it. Now, are you sure that was God? Now, Randall, are you sure that was God telling you that? Now, are you sure that's what... On and on and on. Our mind fights with our heart. The Lord's pulling at our heart, and our mind's trying to reason our way out of it. We have all these reasons. We come up with all these reasons why things are okay to do. We come up with all these reasons why we justify our actions, why we're not faithful to the Lord, why we don't give like we should, why we don't tithe, why we don't give offerings, why we don't attend worship. We come up with all these reasons why we do the things that we do, and that's all coming out of a mind that is not focused on the Lord. But the good news is, He said, I will give you one heart. I'll give you a new spirit. I will take out that hard heart and give you a soft heart of flesh again, and you can start all over with the Lord, and it doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are. God has not forgotten your name, and He wants to start over with you today. That's the God we serve. He loves you that much. But He says, as for those who choose and continue to walk after their own desires in the detestable things and in the abominations, I will judge them and repay them on their own heads, saith the Lord our God. But the God of grace, who has called you to His eternal glory by Christ, listen now, I'm going to close with this. This is so good. The God of grace, who has called unto us His eternal glory by Christ Jesus. And after that, He has suffered a while. He will make you, after you have suffered a while, He will make you complete. He will establish you. He will strengthen you. And He will settle you down. That's what God is ready to do for you. And you'll have the life that you've been longing to have.